Welcome back, guys. This is episode 9 of Sports Talk Live. I'm Coach Brian, and as always, I have Coach. Ooh,
Coach Jacob, what's going on, everybody?
I'm pointing the right way now. Forever, I was pointing this way because you're on this side of my screen, but I'm figuring out the backwards camera slowly but surely. It's been a busy week in sports, right? Like, we got basketball in the playoffs, we have baseball in the playoffs, we have football heating up, getting into the
Yep,
middle of the season. A lot of exciting things going on. But first of all, how are you doing, Jacob? How's your week been?
I'm doing great. It's a fun week in sports, so it's been really busy trying to keep up with all these sports games, and oh man, it's hard watching so much sports.
You say it like it's a bad thing, though. I think we both enjoy it as much as sometimes it becomes a lot. I'm okay with the
Oh,
overload.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's been a interesting week. My Giants sadly weren't able to squeeze out a playoff run. They had to win one of their last 3 games, and they lost all 3 to miss the playoffs. It's really sad. But since I'm talking about the Giants, let's jump on into baseball. One thing I want to bring up that's pretty crazy is there's this whole debate in baseball. This doesn't really have to do with the playoffs, but I kind of want to get your opinion of it. There's this debate in baseball whether we always have had umpires call balls and strikes, and there's been this movement as of late whether there should be a AI calling balls and strikes, a robot umpire as they're calling it. And the reason for this is in the Giants game, it was our Giants against Padres. And in the last game where it would be decided if the Giants could make the playoffs or not, there was 27 missed calls for balls and strikes in that game, and the majority of them went against the Giants. So in a game where the Giants lost by 1 run, there was 27 missed calls.
Let me tell you what I'm hearing right now. What I'm hearing is Coach Brian making excuses for his team.
Oh no. I
You
mean,
guys just didn't win. Sorry, they just didn't get the job done. That's what happened.
oh yeah, man.
That's what happened.
Giants definitely didn't get the job done, but I mean, all in all, I think it was a really good season for the Giants. I thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in baseball, and they ended up almost making the playoffs. So they did a lot better than I thought they were going to do, and that
Go
gets me
A's.
excited for next season.
Almost is not enough.
Yeah, clearly. So we started our playoffs this year. We had extended playoff groups. There were 16 teams who made the playoffs, 8 from each division. And instead of the first round being a normal 5-game series, the first round this year was a 3-game series. So you only need to win 2 to advance.
Yep.
And we have all of those 3-game series concluded except one. They've all been sweeps. So far we've had the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Blue Jays in 2 straight games. The Yankees beat the Indians.
They haven't all been sweeps.
Well, except one. The Indians and so the Yankees beat the Indians in 2 games. The Astros beat the Twins in 2 games. The A's beat the White Sox in 2 games. There's your A's. The Dodgers beat the Brewers in 2 games. The Miami Marlins. I'll say it again because
Who would have thought?
everyone thought they were the worst team in baseball, and here they are winning their first series.
Weren't they had the COVID problem?
Yes, they were the team that had the COVID problem. And then we had the Braves finishing it out, winning 2-0 against the Reds. The only series that is not concluded is our Padres Cardinals. They're playing Game 3 tonight, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I think their series will come to an end tonight. So what's the takeaway from all that I just threw at you?
You threw a lot of information at me as far as AI. I mean, here's the thing. I don't want it to take away the job of the umpire. I think that's crucial.
Mm-hmm.
But why not implement something like that? Or maybe, even NFL started implementing with being able to challenge penalties. Maybe there's a way where you can kind of implement challenging the strike call of some sort. Something like that. I do kind of like the idea of incorporating an artificial though as well. It wouldn't hurt. You know what I mean? And then I know it'll slow up the game a little bit, and that's something that you don't want in baseball because some people would say it's already slow. But maybe you can give an opportunity for the umps to review the pitch to make sure they get the call right, especially if you are missing that many. How many did you say? 20 what?
27 in one game.
That's a lot. That is a lot. If you're missing 27 strike calls in a single game, I don't know. There's something's got to be said about that officiating crew, and they need to.
I mean, so baseball has progressed a little bit in the challenging game. You can actually challenge outs now. So, like a play at second base, you could challenge if the runner beat them in.
Yeah,
So, I think in some ways it's really good. I think with the balls and strikes, it's something that's really going to have to be one way or the other
yeah,
because you can't really have it where you're challenging individual pitches because it'll take too long just
yeah,
for one pitch. So, I think you either have to fully commit to the umpire or fully commit to the robo umps. I think there's positives of both sides. I mean, I think in calling a ball or strike, there's something to that. That like,
yeah,
am I giving you the pitch that's a little bit outside? Am I not giving you the pitch? The biggest thing I ask for umpires is for them to be consistent, right? The problem is if I'm going to call the low and away strike all game, call it all game. Does that make sense? Be
yep,
consistent for both teams.
yep.
That's kind of where I view at it. My issue becomes when it's not consistent with both teams. But you could say that about most sports. If the refs or umpires aren't being consistent with both teams, that's just part of human error, and that happens, right?
Yep.
It's kind of unavoidable. So I want to talk about. See, so in the A's White Sox game, there was something interesting that happened yesterday. So ESPN is doing all the broadcasting for the playoffs, or a majority of it. I shouldn't say all, but they've done this thing this year where they're interviewing players during the game. So it started out as a preseason thing, and everyone loved it in the preseason because the games don't matter, right? But last night they were interviewing Roman Laureano, the I just I forgot to talk, the A's center fielder. They were interviewing him when like two or three straight hits were hit at him, one of which he misplayed, one of which he missed through, and all of this happened while he was being interviewed. So I mean, it comes to the point like, is that really something we need during the playoffs? Like he's trying to do his job, right? So what do you think about that?
Well, obviously, if it's interrupting the play, that's a bad time. It's the worst time
Yeah.
to be interviewing somebody. You know what I mean? Why not interview them when they're in the dugout?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, during the preseason, it's great because they're out there messing around. They're just getting ready for the season. I don't have a problem with it in the preseason. And you know what? I don't even have a problem with it. It's like the NFL, they do the mic'd up videos where they just like get the player's audio. They're not necessarily interviewing the player in that situation though. So I think it's something ESPN will have to work on because they definitely want to try getting more interaction with the players. That's how you grow the sport.
Yep.
It's just something they need to kind of workshop and see how it's going to go.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're
I
going
like
to see how the rest of these MLB playoffs go, but there's another really cool playoff series going on, so I'm going to toss it over to
We
you.
know the A's are going to take it this year, guys. We're
Oh,
going to take out the Astros for everybody, so that way, we're going to do the whole league a favor by taking them out.
okay. So how's basketball been going?
Oh my goodness, basketball has been quite an intense sport to watch. If you're a Laker fan, you know you're having just a surge of confidence right now because of how well they played the other day. Um, but in this last week, we seen Miami Heat advance to the finals. We've seen the Lakers advance to the finals. We've seen Game One where the Lakers just pretty much dominated the whole game. They took their foot off the gas in the fourth, and it gave the Heat a little bit of I shouldn't say momentum, but in a way it did. They started to come back a little bit, and then they started getting like, whoa, they were down 30. Now they're almost breaking it down to single digits again. So luckily for the Lakers, they picked it right back up, and they were able to keep the distance. But for a second there, it was like there was a possibility of maybe even a comeback happening. Although they did have such a huge lead that in the fourth that it wasn't going to be possible. But it was a really good game, and it actually made me really hopeful to for tonight's game. So there's another game tonight. Game two will be happening tonight, and it made me really hopeful that the Heat are going to be able to figure it out and turn it around because they started off really hot. They
Yeah,
started off and they were up by I think 13, and then after that it just kind of I don't know, the Lakers just came in too hot and were too hard, too fast, and Anthony Davis was just a monster on the boards. And you could literally see they had no answer for him. They couldn't out rebound him. They couldn't do anything to really stop him. And anytime he was under the hoop and they feed it to him, it was going in. You know,
So I have a couple questions. I know the Heat suffered some injuries, right? Didn't Jimmy Butler come up hobbling at one point?
did Jimmy Butler come out what?
Didn't he like hurt his ankle, roll his ankle? I believe he did.
He like yeah, he went for he was gonna go for a shot and he kind of like whirled it a little bit, but I think he seemed to be fine afterwards.
Okay,
Um,
so that'll be something to monitor, though.
yeah, definitely. Bam Adebayo's
Yeah,
he had them. I think, in my opinion, probably one of the more serious injuries. Something was wrong with his shoulder, and it was something that had been kind of lingering, so that could affect him in this finals run. And then
yeah,
Goran Dragic got hurt as well, so he's a vital piece to that team as well. He's such a good playmaker and creates space for others. So um, I don't know. It's going to be tough for the Heat. Let's see if they can. This is really, really a good opportunity to show that they can persevere and face adversity and overcome that. This good. The Lakers aren't a team that you can just coast through. So
yeah. So
it's
I
going to be
mean,
fun. It's going to be interesting. Game 2 tonight, folks.
yeah, the core of that team's down, so we'll see if they can show their perseverance and rebound, come back stronger. See if they can fight through it. I mean, a lot of people didn't expect the Heat to be there, so maybe with these injuries, the Lakers will underestimate them and they could pitch their rebound based on that. So it'll be something interesting to monitor.
Yeah, and in other news, Doc Rivers, as we may have heard, got let go from the Los Angeles Clippers and signed a 5-year deal with
The Sixers.
the 76ers. So
That
that'll be
interesting.
interesting. That'll be interesting to see. The 76ers have always been a team that, not always, but recently with Ben Simmons and Embiid, and when they did have Butler for a little while, they've been trying to shuffle pieces around to get that championship team that they wanted. They thought Al Horford was going to be the guy for a little bit, and that it just didn't work. So maybe Doc Rivers can do something and help them finally get to the promised land.
Yeah, he might be just what they need. It's definitely going to be something exciting to watch and see how it pans out next year, right?
Yeah, and I know it didn't work for Doc in LA, but maybe a new place and
A fresh start.
yeah.
Sometimes that does wonders.
There was a lot of expectations for him coming into the season and for that team.
Yep.
So for them to go and
Down to the Nuggets.
down to the Nuggets, but not only that, they dropped a huge lead.
Yeah, very much so. So, I mean, I wish the best for the Clippers. I want to see them do well next year. Same with the 76ers. Both are teams I'm excited to watch. So, having said that, you ready to talk some football?
Let's go to some football.
Okay, so
Really quickly, I know that we had some picks last week.
yes, we
I
did.
have been waiting and waiting and waiting to get the final results. I didn't want to tally it up myself, only to keep it a surprise for today. I was so eager to find out if I won or not. I'm pretty confident I did, because if I remember right, there were 5 games that we voted differently on.
Yes, I believe. Let me make sure. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 games. Or there was 5, but one of them was a tie. So 4 games we voted differently on.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the tie.
Yeah. So I miscounted something. Okay, so how do you think you did in those 4 games we did differently? And
I think I did tremendous.
Yeah. So my record for the week was 8-6-1. I had a positive record.
Okay.
Your record for the week. Wait, does this add up? Wait, checking my math. Yes, it does add up. Your record for the week is 12-2-1. You crushed it.
Let's go.
You predicted 12 of the games right. The only 2 games you got wrong was the Detroit, Arizona, which was a huge upset.
Yeah, huge.
And the other game you got wrong was Atlanta, Chicago, which Nick Foles just spoiled that. He would have had that one right too. And then, of course, we had the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cincinnati Bengals result in a tie. So
wow.
a big lead week 1. I'm going to have to make a comeback. Or I should say week 3, even though that was week 1. So Is there anything you want to talk about before we jump into week 4?
I just want to say I thank you guys for believing in me, and Coach Brian, I know you can do better next time.
Oh, man.
I believe in you.
Okay, so we had the Thursday night football game. I guess we could talk briefly about that. The battle of 0-3 teams, the 0-3 Denver Broncos.
That was a rough game to watch.
Yeah, the 0-3 Jets.
It turned out to be a
Turned
good
out to be a
game at the same time, though.
I mean, Melvin Gordon did a number against me in fantasy football, so that was rough to watch.
Yeah, I was glad I didn't play against him.
Jerry Jeudy made a really good catch. I'm not sure if you saw that.
I did see that. Now, although he did complete the catch,
Oh, the corner.
Let's be honest. It was that belongs on the blooper reel.
That what?
That belongs on the blooper reel.
Oh yeah, no, it went straight off the cornerback's face.
It went through his hands, off of his face, and then Jerry Jeudy was able to just grab it from there and for the touchdown. And then he did his little strut in there. So I don't know. I like Jerry Jeudy, but I just thought like you didn't make that great of a play to be strutting on somebody like that. It was a blooper on his part. He should have intercepted it, and he.
Okay. But yeah, both those teams are 0-3. They both scored a lot of points because neither team's defense is that special. It was not a great game. Like it was just it was rough to watch. We'll leave it at that. And with that, we'll move on to the first game on Sunday, which is the New Orleans Saints against the Detroit Lions.
I am going to say right now that Michael Thomas plays and brings the Saints back.
Out.
Say it again.
He's already been announced out.
Oh, no. They just announced that today?
Yeah, that was announced today. So Michael Thomas is not playing. Neither is Jared Cook.
That hurts.
Yeah, so their top 2 receivers is Emmanuel Sanders and Traquan Smith. Arguably, their number 1 receiver, though, is Alvin Kamara. So we may see a big week for Latavius Murray.
Interesting. I'm still going to take the Saints, though.
Oh, I'm still taking the Saints also.
I'm still going to take the Saints. I think, Alvin Kamara is going to have a field day just like he did last week. So, there was that one play against the Packers. He broke how many tackles? 5 defenders. Yeah. It took 5 guys
to bring him
down before he hit the end zone.
We both picked the Saints without much thought, right? As we picked Arizona, both of us, without much thought. And do you know what Detroit did? They rolled into Arizona and won that game.
Well, they have Kenny Golladay. Do you know who returned for Arizona? For Detroit?
Kenny Golladay. That's what I was going to talk about. So are we not putting enough stock into these Lions with Kenny Golladay? That's the question.
No, I am not. It was a fluke.
Oh, okay.
Arizona just blew it. They beat themselves, and that's it. Drake Kirkpatrick, he got hurt. So
DeAndre Hopkins got hurt too. He might not play this week.
Yeah, but Kirkpatrick got hurt, so they didn't have their main guy, and he hasn't been the same quality corner as he's been in the past, so he might have lost a step or two. Or maybe it's because of the injury. But I'm just looking forward to him being – I shouldn't say – it sounds so bad. I was about to say I'm looking forward to this week's game because he's going to be playing against DJ Moore. And that's going to, hopefully.
Well, let's save that for when we talk about that game.
Exactly.
We both said at the same time. So the next game, we had the Los Angeles Chargers against the Tampa Bay Bucks. And I'll take this one first. Tampa Bay's pretty hurt. Chris Godwin's already announced out. But at the end of the day, I still think Tampa Bay takes it. Justin Herbert's a rookie quarterback. He's still learning. I like the potential that Chargers offense has maybe later in the season, but right now I'm going to go with Tom Brady and the experience.
I'm going to go against you just for fun. I think it can go either way, but I think I'm going to go Chargers on this one. Mm-hmm. I know that, Justin Herbert's still learning, but they were not a bad squad. They had a decent defense. I know they had
a lot of injuries.
I know they're hurt, but I don't know. I don't have too much faith in Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense right now. So we'll see.
Fair enough. So let's go on to the next game. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Cincinnati Bengals.
I am going to take. Oh my goodness, this is hard for me.
I
only
already have my.
because only because it depends on if a certain person's going to be playing or not. If I'm not mistaken, he got marked healthy today.
DJ Shark.
Chark
Yeah,
got announced healthy today.
make me in.
If he plays, I feel like Gardner will have a much better game than he's been, and they need him. That offense, it's clear that
Yeah.
offense needs him. Without Chark, I am definitely not gonna. I'm definitely not gonna choose him. But I think I'm gonna take Cincinnati on this one.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm gonna
You're
take
chopping it up.
Cincinnati.
How you're going Jacksonville?
Well, yeah, I know. It can go either way. This game is going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be fun to watch. Are you going Jacksonville here?
I am going to go Jacksonville. I
Okay.
think James
I'm
Robinson is really talented. He had a really good game. I think the offense getting DJ Shark back only helps them. And I think Jacksonville has the better defense than Cincinnati. I think Joe Burrow's looked amazing. The problem is their offensive line has looked horrible. And without the offensive line, they can't get Mixon going. And I think they need Mixon going to really be good.
Yeah, I agree with you. But Joe Burrow's been a top 10 quarterback fantasy wise. He's top 10 right now.
Yeah.
I think he's like 9th or 10th.
Barely.
So he's doing well, and he's showing that he can play at a professional level. So I'm interested to see. I want him to get his first victory. This last game was rough. I think didn't they miss a field goal? Why they ended up? Or I can't remember exactly how the draw happened. I can't remember how the draw happened, but either way, I do want to see Joe Burrow finally get a win.
Okay.
I think Jacksonville has a lot of capability of taking over this game quick.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see Joe Burrow fight, and I'm just going to root for him in this game.
Okay, so we got to keep it going, make sure we finish on time. So our next game is the Minnesota Vikings against the Houston Texans. I will be taking the Texans. Texans had a really rough start to the season, arguably the hardest start, having to face the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, three really good teams.
Yeah.
So I think this is where we get to see Houston. Maybe they aren't a top 5 team, but they definitely are in the top half of the league. They definitely are gonna show that. And Minnesota's defense hasn't looked good. We saw a bright spot in Justin Jefferson, their rookie receiver last week. So that would be cool to see someone who's like because they were missing that Stephon Diggs in their offense. I think they had Thielen, but when they traded away Diggs, they were missing that. And it looks like Jefferson may be able to fill that gap. So I'm excited for the Vikings, but I think Houston wins.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I'm going to take Houston. They had quite a difficult start, as you mentioned. 3 really good teams that they started off against. I don't know any other team who could have started off in a more difficult schedule. And I know that the Texans haven't looked like themselves, so I'm interested in seeing how they do now. I have a trade pending for Deshaun Watson in one of my leagues.
Ooh.
I'm torn if I should accept it now or wait to see how he does. And if he does well, the other guy might want to have more value to it. But I'm torn right now,
Okay. What's the trade?
I have a trade for it's Deshaun Watson and Myles Gaskin or Will Fuller and Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, interesting.
It's a 14-man league, and I am in dire need of a quarterback. I have Gardner Minshew and Baker Mayfield. Gardner Minshew only put up 2 points for me last week.
I actually have a trade pending, or a trade that's already been accepted. It's going through. I'm acquiring Allen Robinson, who with Nick Foles had a great week last week, and I'm trading away Mike Davis to the McCaffrey owner because he badly needs them.
Yep.
Mike Davis and Latavius Murray. I'm really nervous about trading Latavius Murray. When the trade goes through, I'm probably going to message him right away and try getting Murray back because I have Alvin Kamara, and I'm just terrified if something happens to Alvin Kamara with how much the offense is putting on him. So I'm probably going to overpay to get Murray back really soon. But let's go on to the next game. Our next game, we have the Seattle Seahawks against Miami. I don't think this one's really hard at all. I think it's going to be Seattle easy. Seattle's defense hasn't looked good, but their offense has just been on another level. They've been the best offense in the league to start the year.
Yep.
I think the Chiefs are the only team that's really been close.
I think that Russ is making a case for an early MVP conversation.
He is
He is
right
putting up amazing numbers right now. I think he was like the first quarterback ever to put up, was it 14 or 15 touchdowns through 3 or 4 games, 3 games. It
now.
was crazy numbers. 14 touchdowns it was.
Yeah,
Um, so think about that. That's
he's on
that's
pace for
that's nuts.
75 touchdowns right now.
He's throwing 4 to 5 touchdowns every game.
He's on pace for
Every
75.
game. Now, I'm interested to see when they start playing, high-powered teams like the Chiefs and things like that, because you know that defense has just been allowing a lot as well. They've been putting up a lot of points, but they've been allowing a
Yeah,
lot of points.
they're
So
the defense.
how long are they going to be able to go, or can that offense continue to just shoot out every single time? Because it feels like every game against the Seahawks is going to be a shootout. I am still taking the Seahawks this week. I'm interested to see how it plays out. I think their offense is too high powered for the moment.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree. Russell Wilson's on pace to throw 75 touchdowns, which is just insane. But let's go on to the next game. We have the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys, who I would argue the Cowboys is like the only other offense other than the Chiefs and Seahawks you can mention as elite right now. But who do you take between the Browns and the Cowboys?
Oh man, that's a tough one for me. Honestly, I want to say the Browns,
You going
but
Browns?
I think the boys are going to take it.
Oh, okay.
I think the boys are going to take it. I want to say the Browns only because I'm trying to be hopeful for Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham since I own them in fantasy team.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys have been kind of like the Seahawks, a dominant offense, but they've been giving up a lot defensively. And I think the Cleveland Browns, who are the number one running team right now, with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, I mean, I would say they're the number one running team right now. I don't know. Do you have a different opinion on that?
No,
As a
they have
whole
a
team,
really good.
I'm not really saying their running back is the number one, but just as a running team, I think they're number one right now. And I think if they can control the ball and keep it away from Dallas, with Dallas's defense being suspect, I think you may see Baker Mayfield take the win right now. I want to see it. I'm going Browns. I'm excited. I'm all aboard the Cleveland Browns hype train. Never thought I would say that in my life.
It's going to
So
be interesting.
yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. And I want to mix it up, put some games where we have different teams, right? The next game is the Arizona Cardinals against the Carolina Panthers. For me, I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals. They just got beat by that Detroit Lions team. I think they're going to come out upset. But I do have one thing here.
Wrong
DeAndre
choice, my
Hopkins has
friend.
not been announced if he's playing or not.
Wrong choice, my friend.
DeAndre Hopkins does not play. I'll take Carolina. Will you allow me to put that little thing in? Or do I
Nope.
have to?
Nope.
Okay, I'll take
Nope.
Arizona then.
Nope.
You're obviously taking the Panthers, so
Pick your team now, and
yeah,
I'm going to pick
Cardinals.
Arizona. Psych! I am picking Carolina all day, every day, no matter what week, no matter who they're playing. I don't care how many losses I get because of it. We're probably going to lose most of them. I'm still going to pick them.
It worked out for you last week, so
Yeah,
how about
but I
that?
knew they were going to win that one for sure.
So the
Just
next
like
one,
I
go for it.
no, I was going to say I just know that Kyler Murray's a force right now, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be enough.
If Hopkins is playing, the Cardinals win, my opinion.
I can't wait to see.
So next we have the Indianapolis Colts against the Chicago Bears.
I am taking the Colts on this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to take the Colts, but the Bears keep winning somehow. I don't know how, but they keep winning. But they did just lose Tariq Cohen.
But you gotta understand too, and now I know that the Colts have had somewhat of a, you can say it's an easy schedule, but they have had a dominant defense.
They've had the number one
past few
defense. That's
weeks.
what I was about to say. They have been the number one defense. Part of that, though, is the 2 pick sixes they had against the Jets last week.
Yeah, and they were going against the Jets, so you know what I mean. And they haven't had like they haven't had a difficult challenge yet, but I'm picking them.
You know what? I'm going the Bears. I was going to go the Colts, but the more I thought about it, I like Nick Foles, and there's something about Nick Foles when he comes off the bench, he comes in hot. So we may see a big Nick Foles week this week.
All right, let's go to
So
the next
I'm
one.
gonna
We're
ride
almost
the
out of time.
hot.
Let's keep going.
Bears. Go Bears. Or wait, it's the Bears. Not bad. So next up, we got the Baltimore Ravens against the Washington Redskins. We got to hurry up. We're already
I
at.
am taking the Ravens, of course.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens too. We got to
I
fly.
don't think we need to explain why.
Nope. Next one's Giants Rams. I think this is similar. I'm going Rams.
I'm going Giants. Just kidding.
No,
Why would anybody pick the Giants to win a game right now?
I don't know, man. Next one is the
Sorry to
Patriots.
New York. I apologize to New York, but
Patriots
both
Chiefs.
the New York teams are rough.
Patriots Chiefs. Who are you going?
I am going to go with the Chiefs taking their first loss to Super Cam.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I'm not getting carried away like you.
I'm just gonna do it. I'm just
I
gonna
think
do
the
it.
Chiefs win that game. Next is the
It's
Buffalo
probably gonna be the
Bills.
Chiefs.
Raiders.
It probably will be the Chiefs, but I'm just gonna do it for the fun of it. So
Okay, Raiders Bills. Who do you go?
Bills all the way,
Yeah, this is a tough one for me because the
because you know
Raiders,
the Bills are gonna win. But
Raiders
you're
looked really bad last week.
Raiders.
I'm going Bills.
Oh wow!
Raiders looked really bad last week. They lost their starting corner. Their starting middle linebacker might not be playing. Their two best wide receivers aren't playing. Their starting right tackle's not playing. We're just injured right now. It's hard to win games with how many injuries they have.
Well,
I think Josh.
at least you're picking honest, where I am sticking to my team no matter what.
Yeah,
So, about your loyalty.
I'll say it how I see it. Next is the Eagles versus the Niners.
I am going to take oh my goodness. I want to say the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm going to go Niners too. I mean, both these teams are really banged up. The Eagles actually have had one receiver practice today. Think about that.
Yeah, no depth whatsoever.
They literally had one wide receiver practice. Their backup tight end, they just picked up off of someone's practice squad. It's Hakeem Butler, who used to be a wide receiver, and they're converting him to tight end. So they are weak this week. You're probably going to see a lot of Boston Scott and Miles Sanders on the field at all times just because they need bodies, and both those guys are talented with the ball in their hand. So I'm going Niners, though. I think even banged up, the Niners is less banged up, or I think they have more depth than the Eagles, and that's what it comes down to. They're just a better team. And then we have Atlanta versus Green Bay. Will Atlanta finally not
Green Bay? I'm taking Green Bay. They are too hot right now. I know Lazard just he had, what was it, the surgery he's gonna have to get?
Yeah, he had I want to say like a
I'm taking Green Bay. I'm taking Green Bay.
I believe in the Falcons, man. They should have won 2 weeks. Arguably, all three of their games they should have won. I'm going Falcons. I believe in them.
Devonta Adams comes back. I feel like there's too much going on in Green Bay right now. And
Devonta Adams is a game time decision. He's not announced as
no, he's coming back. He's on my fantasy team. I'm being hopeful he's coming back. And I know that the Falcons or Julio's coming back as well. So, yeah, I'm expecting a bit of a shootout, but I think the Packers have too much momentum and too much going on for them right now. They can run the ball, and the Falcons, even though they should have won the past couple games, are beating themselves constantly.
Yeah. I mean, I think for the Packers, I think the Packers are a good team, but Devonta Adams did say, I am not playing until I'm 100%. So which makes sense. They want to make sure he's healthy. They don't want him to re-injure.
He's playing.
And there's actually Calvin Ridley's a late week injury concern. They're worried about him playing on Monday. So that'll be something to monitor. If Calvin Ridley goes down, what can the Falcons do without Calvin Ridley, who's looked like their number one receiver this year?
I just mentioned Julio returns.
Maybe so. We'll see. Anyways, that is all the games for this week. I had a great time. I think this was another great show. You have anything to say, Jacob?
I don't. Thank you guys for joining us. Please tune in to the games. Tune into our broadcast. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to our page. Hit that like button.
Yeah. And make sure we have live content Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 o'clock on our YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. It's a lot of great stuff that's going up. And I'll see you next week.
We out.